Hello everyone. I'm just about ready to pass some of the updates. I'm just doing last minute checkups to see if there are still some bugs that might appear. So right now I'm just playing around with Random Starship and the new updates. So in this scene I am trying out 12 hull sections, seeing what comes up. So I've also fixed how the lights appear on the ship. So from an earlier video, there's nothing showing because apparently the inner scale is set to 0.01. So I've set it to 50 to 16. This is what it looks like with 12 hull sections. Okay, let's build another one. And using proxy mesh, I'm going to try 2 iterations and run a Starship. Start out with level 0, then just build it up from here. So I play around with some with either level 0 or level 1 depending on how the uh, speed of the operator reacts or behaves. So this is 12 hull sections. Let's try 3, something shorter. Okay. Really stabby ships. Let's try 1 tolerance. This could come up with really weird results, but or somewhere around 0.25. And let's reshape the ships and lower the scaling down in the z-axis and make it thicker in the x-axis, so something like that. And play around with the seed values. Also scale interval set to 1. So the way that scale interval works is that if you're using something like 2, it means that every second or every third hull section, the scaling will be randomized. So with something like 1, every hull section will be randomized. Or yeah, every hull section will be randomized. So let's use something like 1. Level segments of 3. Level offset points 0.5. Now 0.4. Same as before. Then just gold plating, front back section. I'm going to raise up the depth of the z axis. I mean the z depth of the back. That go back to all section and play around with the. Okay. So I like these shapes. So let me just increase the subdivision. Probably go to plating and just set the size, maximum size of the plating to 4. So the less that you use here, the more plating islands are developed, therefore more details. But it will of course add to the processing overhead. So just be mindful of that. I'm also going to uh, increase the tolerance of the wrapping. So this is basically like in random flow where the edge split kind of wraps around the sharp corners instead of splitting the sharp corners itself. So tolerance of 2. Okay. Just to reduce the likelihood of some of the sharp corners to be split. So let's actually just use probably, yeah, just use 2 subdivision ships. So with the update, I've set the shader or the group shader. This one, I'll probably rename this to something else in the update. But you have your random color for your islands here and the seed value right here and your AO kind of range and you have the AO strength. So these are set to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 and you can just go in and increase the values, change the values after and just, to make the details on the panel islands really pop out. So these are the stubby ships. So I like this one, but there are some parts on this one that I don't like. Well, let's go back to the mothership style. Create another cube. Let's go back to 12 hull sections. Starship and set the subdivision level to 0. Set this to 12. And we're going to play around with the big shapes using just subdivision level 0. Okay, increase the resolution. This looks good. So you can see sometimes there are holes that are generated, and that is due to the thickness of the axis in that particular direction. So this is thinner on the z-axis, so that's why and this is using symmetry on the z-axis, and when the extruded face that goes towards the mesh goes past that symmetry line, then it creates the hole. That's why the mesh is a hole. So if I make this thicker, the z-axis, you can see that the extrusions no longer go past the symmetry axis. So in this case, this is actually quite good. This goes past this x symmetry axis. That's why it created a hole in that area. And without let me just show you without symmetry, this is what the mesh really looks like. So you can use the settings to choose which of the axis you're going to use. So for example, X, you can flip it to use the other side. Y is if you're going to make a something like that, but generally you don't use this. So also in the Z axis, you can flip it to use the other direction instead. Okay. Let's go back to 0. And I think I had it as 0.8 in the Z axis, and 1.2 in the X axis. So to make the scaling of the hull sections more even, you can just increase the scale interval, and also the uniform scale is all about the it means that the scaling, the random scaling of the hull section will be even in the x and z axis, whereas if it has no uniform scale, it will be randomized between z or the x-axis. So with 100% uniform scale, the random scaling will be the same number. We'll use the same number for the x and z scaling. So you can have more rounder result. Okay, let's use this one, increase the subdivision. There we go. Ooh. Let's decrease the depth in the z-axis. So 0.5. There we go. That actually looks good. Let's try another seed value. Let's reduce the subdivision to 1. Okay, this one is good. And in the next update, there will also be new properties or parameters for the bump. We have bump range is base or and subdivided. This options is actually you can actually select multiple for this kind of options. Uh, for bump node, you can only select one. But bump range and bump range, you can select two. You can shift and click to select multiple like that. So this just means that um, the base. This means that the bump will be produced before the subdivision. Before the subdivision is activated in the script, and subdivided means that the bump will be used after the subdivision. You can choose either one or both to have the bump uh, on the base or only on the subdivided or both of them. Okay, let's just use both. And we have axis here, meaning that um, the bump will generally be uh, extruded from faces that are facing directly at the x-axis based on the tolerance here. So the lesser you use for this value, the the straighter it would be for the face to actually face the x-axis to be considered for the bump. So the higher it is, the more leeway, the more margins. So you can use the x-axis, y-axis, but generally for random starship, you only use xj. Y is only exposed for special circumstances. But you can also choose multiple for this by pressing shift and clicking, and remove by also pressing shift. So by default, you can just use dx, and something like 2. There we go. So you can see here, it extruded uh, this bump extruded this way. And if you have lesser tolerance, it will, if it finds a face that faces directly on the x-axis based on the tolerance value that you have, then it will generate the bump going this way. And the more tolerance you have, the more it will extract faces that are kind of facing the y or the z axis. Okay, so let's set it back to 1. So just a bit more control for the um, bump bump feature of the add-on. So let's use 20 and use bump and use base and subdivided, and we have this one here. A lot of bumps. And you can of course select the set the bump offset minimum maximum over here. Let's just set it back to 0.2. Okay. Probably set the tolerance to something like 0.3. You can also play around with the seed value of the bump. rather than the general seed value of the hull. There we go. Zero. Okay. So 10. And it has a very, the bump is one of the major shapers of the, oh, this looks good. The add-ons, so changing the values can produce significant changes to the look of the model. Nice. And oh, it created the hole on this part here instead. That actually looks good. We can still affect the way that the bridge looks using the front back. So this is the back. So that's the Z. The Z is going up, the X is inside. So this is the X part, and this is the depth, the length of the Z and X extrusions are the depth, and the taper is to make the extrusions thinner towards the side. Okay, so let's see, taper 0.4, and we also have edge cuts. You can reduce that to 0. There we go. Ooh, it affected the front. We can expand the front to something like 2. So the expand parameter basically, um, so for example, if you have, in this case, we have front 1 and back 3, it means that um, half section in the front, one half section in the front is considered for the front part of these parameters here, which will be affected by these parameters here. And at the back, three hull sections are considered for the back, which will be affected by the parameters here. So Z depth of 1. There we go. You can see the increase of the Z depth there. Let's try the X depth to something like 0.4 to create a wing. There we go. And then taper that to something like 0.4 as well. There we go. So we ensured a wing construction on that part without actually using. So uh, that is an insured wing. That is an insured wing structure at the front using the front back section without using the randomness of the large wings or the bump. The large wings section here can also produce this kind of structure in the front and also the bump, but for 1%, like if you want to like have that structure 1% on the front, then you can use the front back section. Okay. So let's reduce the depth of that, something like 0.2. Yeah. So 0.1. Okay, this might be the effect of, let's increase edge cuts, bridge tolerance, smooth scale, black scale. Oops. Let's see. Zero bump. Okay. with the depth. Oh, I was manipulating Z depth or not. There we go. 0.05. Okay, so just makes it smaller. Let's reduce the hull section, something like 8. Go to front back and set the X depth to 0.25. There we go. Oops, there's a hole there. So I'm going to play around with the hull seed to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so the UVs, these are automatically UV'd every time. You can just go in and edit mode and unwrap. The only problem is it's not straight. You want this to be straight if you um, want to use like sci-fi patterns or something like that. But you can use text tools on some of these islands and actually use rectify to straighten it or something like that. The only problem is that it won't work on triangles. So you see, so you might need to fix some triangles in the mesh. And you can also use, if it works, this straight UV. It doesn't work with triangles too, but you know, if you can go in and make the triangle squads and then use use this. You need to unwrap first, unwrap angle base, and then use this mesh straight UVs. But again, it doesn't work on, just like rectify, it doesn't work on triangles, so you need to go in and fix triangles yourself. This is easier than actually fixing the UV map, so yeah. Like for example, this one here, you can just do this, and this makes it quads. Okay, so you have no, it really shortens the process a lot. You can see here, it's this. These are already UV. Not 100% like if you finish, you can just UV and the UV is good. You still have to, of course, fix it, but it gets you there quicker than actually having no UVs at all. So same with this one. And let's just use straight UVs. So yeah, this is our ship. Actually, this needs to be this is designed to be a small frigate or something. So let's just scale that. Okay. Now we have our collection of ships. Of course, you can try other looks based on the presets. This is just using the new presets with the introduction of the new smoothing feature. But of course, you can use other presets like alien shapes, which this time produces mess. Sometimes it produces like maybe. Wait, maybe I should fix this before. Maybe the new introduction of the. I'll fix this before the update. Maybe the new introduction of some of the The new parameters we have first created this mesh wing sharp. Yeah, take it as. I need to fix some of the presets. I think I messed the new parameters messed up with it, messed the other presets up. So I need to fix them. Okay, so in the meantime, probably I'll focus on delivering run the random flow update first. Before we go, I'm going to try something and create some symbol here. Uh, Draw faces. Uh, just remove the solidify. Symbols, maze cut tree. Merge the source and going to give this some more resolution. Click on this, click on our ship with our font selected also. Shrink wrap, use data transform, use subdivision photo mesh, offset. Okay, let's make this smaller. Um, Go to edit mode. There you go. We can set the cursor to the selected object and mirror this way to the cursor, selecting this to Shift D and mirror it on the side. This needs to be reversed. Excuse me. Median point and set the to -1 and then flip the normal. There we go. Yeah, so just it's just me playing around with the add-on, so just hoping for any bugs to show so I can fix it. So there's really no bugs except for the presets. That's something to fix after the video. So yeah, that's it. And again, for those who purchased the add-ons, thank you for your support. And if you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.